Hello, and welcome to Creators on the Crest. I'm Stephanie, and this is the Wolf Out series, reading 9 of 12. Today I pulled 2 cards to determine the theme, which we'll go into momentarily. And we're going to do a spread called Your Best Self today. This is going to help us overcome any challenges and see very clearly the strengths and opportunities that are going on in this situation. Keep in mind these are general readings, so only take what resonates. If this reading doesn't resonate, maybe try another one in this series. If you're interested in a personal reading, I will have links in the description below, and you can find me on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Creators on the Crest. Okay, so today's video is titled Lack Mentality. It's a subject that is a little tricky for a lot of people, and everyone's always trying to figure out, the magic formula for abundance and to bring wealth into their life. And they don't want to sit and be in a negative poverty kind of mindset, which is what is being shown here in the cards. Now, in and of itself, we have this pup of hunters. This represents an entrepreneurial energy, right? And in and of itself, this is a beautiful energy. This is fire. This is go get 'em. This is putting the actions behind what you love. This is a very active and eager kind of feeling. Definitely leading the pack, or learning to lead the pack. This is like maybe someone in training even. So this could be for some of you that you are in like a mastermind training, or you're learning a certain thing that's going to grow into a business for you. And in and of itself, I love that energy, but it comes along here with this 5 of hunters, and it says poverty. So there's a lot of mental second guessing of, is there enough? Are there too many people doing what I'm doing? Is anybody really going to pay me for my services? There's all this worry about there being lack. And I think it's really something that we are conditioned to believe in this world. We're conditioned and raised to believe that there's not enough. And it starts with there not being enough within our own selves, and with us having limited mindsets. And so we pick up on these other things, these other beliefs that then stem out from that initial belief of there's not enough, or will there be enough, and all the doubts around it, right? And these are big ancestral patterns for a lot of people as well. So it's not just societal. For some of us, it's ancestral patterns. And we're not really taught that wealth and abundance moves in energy, and that we're allowed to take up space, and we're allowed to be big, and that we're allowed to pull others up with us, that it doesn't have to be like I succeed and all these others don't. But that's the model that's been set forth in society. So, I say that because I want everyone to be aware and to just give ourselves a little grace about what we're up against. It's no wonder that many of us have struggled or are struggling with the mindset of how is there going to be enough, right? And there's a whole lot of energies involved, but I want to get into these cards and see what energies want to come forward today. We're asking for the highest and best messages for all the viewers of this video. All right. Whew. I'm going to pull some cards, and we'll go into what they mean. Interesting. Wow, this is going to get really interesting here, I have the feeling. Okay, so as I mentioned, this is your best self spread. So remember, we are currently now going into the energies here that are the nitty gritty, okay, of this feeling of like, I have all this fire, I have gifts, talents, I know my vision, I know my purpose, I'm eager, I'm ready, but I have this creeping little subconscious little, nagging feeling of lack and poverty and it's just a very weighted down feeling kind of energy. And so in the goal here, which is really interesting that this is in the goal position, what we're setting our sights on is the tension. And this is really interesting because this is a card. Look at, they're playing like tug of war with a piece of their prey, right? These wolves. We're focusing on the competition. We're focusing on the narrative that's been handling us. Our goal is to actually overcome and advance beyond this tension. But many of us right now are taking a look at that. Now, this can be a little net trap and snare. If you get too caught up in the us versus them, rich versus poor, all these kinds of polarized energies, right? So our goal is to overcome these energies. But if you sit and focus and stew in these for too long, it will keep you stuck. So I'm going to say right now, for those of you watching this video, this is what I would call a masterclass reading here, because this is not for the faint of heart. This is not for people who aren't ready to evolve, okay? We got to be really ready to face ourselves here. And these wolves, it's interesting. I just said face ourselves. Maybe this is us fighting against ourselves. And our goal here is to overcome that kind of tension of being our own worst enemy with our thought forms, right? So if you're here and you're showing up and you're still listening, good for you, because this is tough energy, okay? I can feel it in my bones. It is tough stuff. Now, here in the challenge, we have the 9 of Leaders, which is resilience. Resilience. So for some of you may feel a bit tired of dealing with all this. You're like, man, I know this, and I know people I'm connected to are starting to embrace abundance, and they're starting to expand, and they're taking up space, and things are looking good. When I look at the people and the collaborations I've made and the people I've met and the networks I'm setting up, but man, it's just such a behemoth that it's hard to stay resilient. This is in the challenge position. It's hard to stay resilient in a world that doesn't want those collaborations, that doesn't want the people, the partners, the small groups, the large groups coming together and really embracing this understanding and transforming these mindsets, because we can't sustain in this world if we keep looking at abundance through the lens of greed. That is never going to be what evolves society. And we're never going to get anywhere if we don't think there's enough. That's why we have to be in our creative forces. That's why we have to stay connected to nature. That's why we have to become more self-sufficient in a world that's full of conveniences and full of, the instant pleasures and things like that. So like I said, this is not for the faint of heart, this reading. Okay, let's look at our strength. Okay, so we've got the pack of caretakers, and this is charm. This is our beautiful, loving hearts. This is how delightful and charming we truly are in and of ourselves, and bringing that heart-based energy to the world. This is a water element energy here. This would be synonymous with the Knight of Cups. So really, when we're looking at our strength, is that we bring love into the world through our work, through our projects, through our ability to stay resilient despite that being a challenge. When we focus on the heart space and always commit to carrying the heart along with us as we go, that is going to be our biggest strength. And that is going to be how we overcome this our own mindsets, so our struggles in our own mindsets, but also shift the world and shift the cultural and societal beliefs and structures and impositions that have been placed upon us. We're going to do it from the heart space because we remember that the open heart is our greatest protection. The open heart and coming at things with love. This doesn't mean we don't stand up for ourselves. This doesn't mean we don't have boundaries. This doesn't mean we don't, confront psychopaths in the way they need to be confronted. Okay, we don't just step aside and allow ourselves to be run over. That's been part of the problem so far. But this means that all of the actions we take are in alignment with natural and cosmic law, and that we are deeply, deeply connected to our hearts and heart-led and leading our vision through our heart, and that is our strength. Our weakness here, we're getting a little called out here. It says 9 of caretakers, pleasure. So there may be a tendency, we all want to be comforted in this crazy world, right? There may be a tendency here, a bit of a weakness to just do what is pleasurable to us without really thinking of the consequences or that it might be taking us off course or off our path. This is in the weakness position, right? So this is that quick fix. This is that you get stuck scrolling on social media, and before you know it, you're down rabbit holes and you're just seeking that dopamine hit, right? That's a big topic of discussion right now. And that doesn't help us stay regulated in our nervous systems. We're not willing maybe to do the hard work when we're in this place. So and it's not that we shouldn't experience pleasure and sensuality and nice things in life and feel good, but this coming up in the weakness tells me that there might be a little bit too much indulgence going on. And how can we strengthen our commitment and our capacity to stay true to what we're really here to do and not get too caught up or too blinded by those quick fixes, that instant gratification kind of energy, right? Like that is so important for us to keep in check here. Now, the advice is there's a little bit of trust here, okay? A little bit of blind trust being asked of us because we get the seasons, life cycles. Understanding that truly we are in a time of great healing. We're in a time of enormous evolution, and we're in a time of great change and upheaval, and that a lot of the things being brought to the surface are so that they can be healed and released. A lot of people don't know what to do with it. I know a lot of people are losing their damn minds. True. But if you're watching this video, I guarantee you have done some level of work or you would not have found me. You have been doing inner work. You have done some level of it that has gotten you to the point where, wow, this is, not how I want the world to be. And you're willing to do something about it, and you're willing to start with yourself. You're already there, or you're somewhere in there. Some of you have done a lot more work. Some of you have, built careers and purposes on this and are living it, right? Which is so commendable. And I think sometimes we forget to stop and look at that, of how far we've come. So maybe this is a moment too, after this video, you stop and just pause and say, wow, look at how far I've come. Wow, I was able to, save up money and buy that property out in the country. I'm going to set up, residences for myself and my extended family. I mean, how amazing is that, right? Or you left that corporate job once and for all, and it's done, and you're leaving that behind, and your soul is now calling you to a higher purpose, right? And nowhere in the energy that we're going to, and the organic timeline evolutionary state, is there room for lack, right? There is only room for abundance, and we want things to be better. We don't want this chaos, bullshit, greed, sorcery that's been going on. We want things to be whole and complete and aligned with the natural cycles of life and of evolution here. So these are really, really important energies. I could probably, and you know, sometime we'll probably bring this onto the Real Life Mages podcast, and I'll talk with someone about this a bit deeper, because this is such important energy to be able to overcome. There's been some important reminders here, though, so I hope that's helped you. I wish you an amazing day, evening, morning, you know, wherever you are, whenever you're listening to this, and I'll see you next time.